Hello, welcome back to the ministry. Now, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, Lord. Just give me wisdom because I'm seeing a few things that I want to address. Okay, I'm going to do it that way. First, I'm going to address crossing over. It's so interesting. For those of you that saw the video that I did, I was talking about this is your week, this is your crossover, the series, did the whole series on. Well, I'm going to share something that happened that I believe a lot of eyes are on, but nobody's talking about. Not much. But I also believe there's a representation here. Okay? In Maryland, the Key Bridge just fell on, what date was that? It was the beginning. I think it was Tuesday. At 1:29 in the morning. Hold on, let me do some research for a second for y'all. 1:29 in the Strong's Concordance means blood. Now, let me explain something to you. When this happened, we've all seen it. Yes? Let me explain something to you. We're on a week of crossing over, and a key bridge falls down. If that isn't a representation of how the enemy desires to make sure that you do not cross over into your blessings. See, it's funny. God has always been one. When you're down to nothing, he shows out, right? Well, in looking at this experience, isn't the making of a miracle when it looks like all possible options are closed off to you? Think of a key path, a key route, a key understanding. It's funny. Oh my God, I remember Shantia did a word where she talked about having had a dream about crossing a bridge but couldn't get over it because the path was blocked. And this was months ago. Shantia Deja. We are at a crossover point and this happens. Sometimes, and it makes sense, and I thank Tiffany Montgomery for reminding us of this fact. A lot of us be so daggone frustrated. God, why am I in another? Why, God, why do I have to deal with this hindrance? God, why can't I just get over where it is you told me I'm supposed to go? Because maybe, just maybe, God, every time I see a delay, you know what I see? And God says, wait, I see him literally taking his hand and saying, hold up. You ever see them movies where there be jump scares and all that back in the day when I used to look at horror movies like that? And that they be walking through paths and stuff like that and weird things be happening. A pendulum will swing in front of them or whatever it is. And the person will have to hold it and be like, what movie was that? That actually was it National Treasure or something like that? It was some movie like that. It actually wasn't a horror movie. It was just one of those types of what you call it, like a Tomb Raider type film, where it's like you got traps and booby traps that be right there. You got to be able to hold up, wait, stop. Oh, if you step there, wait, you can't see it. The floor is gonna fall out from under you. Tiffany Montgomery was saying, if the plane goes, is gonna go up and it's planning to go down, don't let me get on it. I was listening to the news traction this morning. They was talking about it was 60 cars that were locked up at the front of the bridge when the bridge collapsed. I need you to hear me with your spiritual ears. I'm getting chills all over this. 60 cars. When they hurried and got an authority to say, don't let nobody cross this bridge. Because technically, if you look at the front part of the bridge, it's still there. The front's still there. So if they had started to track up that bridge, they'd have gotten up that bridge on their little, and what? Would have fell right in the water. Would have fell on all that debris. 60 cars. I listened to a testimony from a woman. She said that night she was a Uber driver, was driving through to go pick up somebody on the opposite side of the Key Bridge. She just crossed the bridge, but for some reason this person was taking too long to come out the building. She didn't know why. She decided to wait. How many of y'all know people that if they had to wait, they would drive off? I know somebody like that. You taking too long, I'm going to leave. What if the reason that person was late, and had they come out in the time frame that she wanted them to, they'd have been on the middle of that bridge when it collapsed? She said, if my person had come out at the right time. There are people I know of that back when 9/11 happened, that told stories. I had a meeting that day in the Trade Center, but I didn't feel well. The traffic was bad. I didn't go. The meeting got canceled. This got canceled. Something happened that morning. I couldn't. Some of us be so gung-ho. Where's my spouse at? Why ain't I in my promised land? I want to be where God told me I was supposed to be. What if the bridge was going to go out that was going to take you there? And you was about to be on it talking about, I need to be where I'm supposed to be. Or worse, what if your spouse was set? You sitting up there begging, oh, he en route to me, get to me. But his crossover point was set to cause him premature death. Because let me tell you something. Here's a story for you. If you didn't figure this out, I'm going to tell you exactly how this happened. You ever hear me tell my story of the fact that I almost died? You ever heard me tell the story of how I almost died? Now, the devil done try to kill me about 3 times in my life, okay? So this just... But it was at a pivotal point. I had been waiting for a specific prayer to be answered. God was preparing to transition me out of that season where I was out there and put me in a more secure space when I was in New York. But at that point in time, I was still in the street. Well, this particular day, I'm going to tell it to you like this. I was at the grocery store. Didn't know God was about to make these changes in my life. And I had this bag because a friend of mine had given me this in order to help make it easier on me. She had given it to me in order to help me. But I was always the person that took it up the escalator because, for one, I didn't know this mall had an elevator. Never seen it before. As I was going to go down the escalator. I forgot whether I was going down or up. I think I was going down because I was going to the grocery store to do something. And I knew it was a test. I figured this out later that same day. And a guy just happens to walk past me seeing the bag that I had. And he says to me, "You should take that on the elevator. God will warn you before something happens." Now, I needed to go to the grocery store to pick up something, but I didn't realize that in the midst of me going to the grocery store, I was going to end up in a test. Let me explain to you the test that I walked through, okay? I go into the grocery store. I got $3 to my name that day. I had to figure out what I wanted. I knew I wanted some donuts, though. I had something in my spirit. I want some donuts. I go into the grocery store. My heart posture says, go get these donuts. Went in there. It was $3. A 12-pack of glazed donuts for $3. $2.99. I would have been able to pay for it. But my spirit was saying, God's trying to change your diet. You need to go back and get that $2.99 green juice that's sitting on that shelf. That's the exact same price. So I was feeling in my spirit, let me do that. So I went back and I put the donuts away, but I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, went and got the juices. I came back, ran into one of my church members, and we were having a conversation while we was in the line. So all of this transpiring, I bought the green juice. Enemy didn't want me to buy that green juice. He wanted me to buy the donuts. With all that happening, I felt good because I recognized that I had been in a test. I was like, yes. But this is what the enemy does when you pass a test. I passed the test. I walk outside happy because I realized I passed the test. So me, with my jolliness, forgetting that I was not supposed to take the bag on the escalator, goes onto the escalator, gets 10 steps up. The bag gets hooked in the side of the escalator. I didn't even feel it. All I know is I was 10 steps up on the escalator, felt the bag jerk. And the next thing I know, I'm in a daze at the bottom of the escalator. And I just so happened to fall on my shoulder. Because for all intents and purposes, the devil wanted me to fall on my neck. Because had I fallen on my neck, I'd have died. Why did I just tell you that? Pay close attention. You hear that, Lauren? Pay close attention. I just told y'all that is because sometimes what the enemy means for evil, God meant to turn it for your good, but sometimes he gave you a warning. You ever hear God say, wait? God said, wait for a reason. All them folks got clogged up at the end of that terminal. 60 cars. 60 cars. Let me repeat that. 60 cars. 60 cars. That would have been 60 people they would have been looking for. That families would have been horrendously seeking answers. 60 people got to go home that night. Let me tell you another story right quick. Had a family member, or shall I say a family friend, whose daughter used to travel back and forth, ironically, from New York, but she used to take the train from Baltimore to New York and back. She did this every week because her job was in New York, but her place of living was in Baltimore. This particular day, you remember when they had that major mess up? It was another national event where the train had gotten stalled. I believe there was a major train flipping. It derailed. The night that it was set to derail, she ended up getting delayed getting to the train station that night. So when she heard about the delay, she was like, man, I'm not going to be able to get home till, because she was already late. It was already late at night. She usually would take the train around by 11 o'clock. So she'd be on the train majority of the night for a couple hours until almost 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get back to Baltimore. But this particular night, the train that she would have normally have taken, delayed. And she's sitting there, why is it that it's delayed? What's taking so long? Oh my God. It was that train that flipped over. And she was still on the platform, complaining about the delay. Tiffany Montgomery always says it like this: if it's supposed to go down, don't let me get on it. Y'all sitting up there praying for these spouses. Oh, I want them to come quicker. Come. What if he had been set to fall into a trap that would have almost killed him? Almost, I say almost, because the devil wanted to kill him. But because if he was listening to some other spiritual unction other than God, and he did that, Satan would have set him up in a trap. So y'all sitting up there, what's that? Why he so delayed? Because God said, hold up, sir. There's a trap, because she just prayed for you. And because she prayed for you, the enemy recognizes you're going to move. So I need to hold you here for a second. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I need to hold you here for a second. And you're spiritually feeling, oh, hold up, God, you saying delay? Why is it delay? Because what you don't see is what God can see, because he was coming. But guess what? There was a roadblock or a trap or a hole or a pitfall that the enemy had purposely set between him and you. That just like that bridge went out. He would have ended up on it. He would have ended up in that trap. He would have ended up, and because he may not have been, thank God that God gave these men spiritual hearing to not move until God says move. When God says wait, he's saying wait for a reason. When God says stop, he's saying stop for a reason. 60 cars would have been on that bridge. When God says wait to you, he sees something you don't see. He sees failure that you don't see. So when you sit up there and get in your mind, I'm going to go ahead and do this. God said, I saw a trap. And when I told you stop, and it's funny because I was looking at a review of the movie Breaking Dawn that I did the other day, and I was listening to the part where I was reviewing the part where Edward told Bella, stop. And I was talking about the fact that your spouse has the ability to see. Right now, your only spouse is God. And when God said, stop, he said it for a reason. Bridge went out, fell over. But also look at that as a sign. And that sign is this. The judgment for your enemies is happening now. They are about to fall. That bridge fell in like 10 seconds. Now, I could go into the other factors of this, but then it would sound like a conspiracy theory. I'm going to just leave it, but you could see where we could go with that. Because maybe it fell too fast. All I'm going to say is Lady Jeremiah made a good point that I didn't think about that bridge. She said that it's funny that it collapsed at the same time, exactly a certain amount of years, in the same week it was built, that it collapses. and ain't nothing sus. The blood. And I don't think that was the blood of Jesus. That could have been. It could have very well been. A sacrifice. I'm going to leave that there. But understand something. It causes confusion. And a lot of us, because of the inconvenience, there are a whole bunch of people that are inconvenienced because they no longer have that access point. And now it causes delays in every other area because now traffic is clogging out and all of this kind of. A delay is not a denial. A delay is just a delay. And sometimes God is saying, wait, because he saw what you did not see. The people at the bottom of that bridge, when they told them, when the transit authority said, stop moving, didn't see the bridge was out because the front part of the bridge was still there. It wasn't until they said, the bridge is out, don't move. Maybe your cross point is out. That is why you had the delay. Maybe your transition point into your opportunity. That's why you had the delay. Don't be so quick. You still gonna get to where you gonna get to. I got many confirmations. Many confirmations. I got another word for y'all. You gonna get there. What the enemy thought he was doing ain't gonna succeed. But understand that with the quickness that's gonna happen because of the delay, it will not be up any longer. Which means you might have to move a little bit faster when God says go. But none of God's plans are going to be held up. Understand it. So I wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to come back because I got a good one for you next. Okay?